The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa N Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at Tessa TNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa N Thomas.
I'm such a lucky guy, 'cause after all this time, it's like the deeper I go, the deeper I fall.
Good evening, Spaced Out Radio. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.9 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, August 18th, Sunday, August 19th for those of you on the East Coast and beyond, and this is Spaced Out Radio. I hope you guys had a rockin' week, an awesome day, and an even better evening. I am your host, Tessa TNT, and I am live tonight broadcasting from beautiful Bayfield, Colorado. We are thousands strong around the world nightly on Spaced Out Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, as well as Deep Talk Radio, which you can find at deeptalkradio.com. Don't forget to head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the encounter online, dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. Tonight, I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight, we will be talking to and getting to know Death Stalkers Paranormal. Death Stalkers Paranormal is the new and rising paranormal team of the South. Based out of Mississippi, the main focus of the group is empowering others with knowledge of haunts while teaching proper etiquette of cleansing and communicating with spirits and clients. Some of the team's involvement includes Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, arson case in Baldwin, Link Center, and is currently working on the mystery behind Monroe House. With the help from both mediums and skeptics and believers, the team has worked cases in missing persons, cold cases, general haunts, and everything in between. Welcome, Death Stalkers Paranormal.
Hello.
Hi. All right, so I'm going to ask Caden, will you go ahead and introduce us to your team and let us know who is and what their job is on your crew?
Yeah, so we'll start with our team lead. That's Shannon. Say hey.
Hey.
Shannon is our lead medium. She's the veteran of us all. She's the one that brought us all together. And, she's basically our go-to person. She's our Reiki master. She's also our I can't even list everything that you are. She's
Our mentor,
mentor.
our teacher,
everything for us.
the glue that keeps us together.
Exactly. Then you have Lee.
Hey, y'all.
Lee is our historian. She's also a professional photographer. She's the one that creates our merchandise and makes it all for us. Oh, and she's also our madre of the team. She's a mom for us. She keeps us all together.
Try to.
Yeah.
Our historian.
Yeah. She's our historian. She's also our certified note taker. Then you have Allisa.
Hi.
Alyssa's the other medium of the team, which you guys that have heard me and Allisa talk on here before, you know kind of what we do. And then you have me. I'm the tech guy, cameraman, investigator, yeah. And then we actually have two other members that are not with us tonight. We have Alicia. Alicia is our scout. She's also another investigator. And then you have Destry. Destry's my other tech guy. He's the one that helps me run the cameras and behind the scenes.
Nice. And just talking to you guys earlier and hearing you socialize and such, it seems like you guys have a lot of fun together, which is really important as a team.
Most definitely. Sometimes too much fun, and that's where I come in and try to reel them in a little bit.
So what was your guys' first paranormal experience? I guess we'll start with Caden.
My very first paranormal experience was whenever I was younger. The one that sticks out the most is whenever I was 17. I had an experience with my house that I was in. I had an attachment. The spirit that was there, she didn't like me at all. And then I guess I just made her mad, and it started getting to where I couldn't sleep at night. And another dark entity ended up attaching itself to me due to some unfortunate events on an outing with friends. And I ended up with what I call a oppression / possession situation for 8, 9 months, where this one entity and this spirit just constantly just made my life crazy, where it would keep me up at night. I couldn't sleep at night. I would lose time during the day. It was just crazy. So that was my first real experience. I won't go into much detail, but it opened my eyes a lot that stuff like this is true, and that I wanted to help people to show them the signs to look for and how to get rid of it, and also how to deal with the aftermath of it.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and ask Shannon the same question. When was your first paranormal experience?
My first paranormal experience, actually, I don't remember a time where I didn't have a paranormal experience. I kind of started what I can remember about the age of 4. I actually had what we referred to as my imaginary friend, which now I know was not my imaginary friend, named Tavi, that I kind of served as a guidance even back then. I also had what I call floaters that were green mists that traveled with me pretty much everywhere I went. They used to kind of float around my bedroom, which I now look and think is my guides and my angels. But I could read people from about the age of 5 or 6, talk to the dead as early as 7 and 8. So like I said, I don't really remember a time where it wasn't paranormal for me. It's just always been part of my life and lifestyle.
Allisa? How about you?
My first... Do what?
I said, how about you?
My first paranormal experience would probably have to
be seeing the angels before my brother passed. I guess I was three or four. And then from then on out, I've seen a lot of my family members and spoke with my different family members and had a couple of different imaginary friends. But the first one that really sticks out that I can remember is right before my brother passed. I had a lot of angels visiting me.
That's awesome. And how about you, Lee?
Gosh, I grew up in Boston in a really old Victorian home. And so I too had a lot of, what would be considered imaginary friends. And just growing up through life as I got older, I would see different things. I used to work for the sheriff's department in Florida for a while, and I would see a sergeant that had passed still doing his rounds and whatnot. I get a lot of little sparks of light would be the best way to describe it around me all the time. I've had my sister that passed has come to me when I was going through some particularly difficult times in my life. So I think the general theme with all of us has been pretty much since childhood.
Nice. So how did you guys come to be Death Stalkers Paranormal?
That's a really good question, and it's kind of deep. Without going into great detail, because I don't want to cause any conflict, I came from another team that was going in a different direction, and felt like it was time for me to break out and kind of do my own thing, because I had a different way of operating and ideas that the parties were not receptive to, and had met Lee and Caden and Allisa, and we all really clicked, became an immediate kind of family, and just knew that they were three people that I wanted to bring in. Destry is my son, so he's dealt with Mama his entire life and with the paranormal, so he was an obvious choice. And then Allisa, I knew from work, and her skepticism brought something to the table as well, because she gave that fresh eye to investigation and things that we would go out and do. So brought everybody together, and it's been awesome ever since. We've been rocking and rolling, moving right along.
So have you guys always wanted to be in this field, or was it your early paranormal experiences that brought you to doing this? What is your guys' mission?
We're trying to figure out. You can answer.
We're sitting around pointing fingers at each other.
This is Shannon, and I actually started out doing readings, and realized how much that is needed with closure for people. Early on, I realized that I got as much out of it as the person that I was reading for, and the connections with spirits, and how profound it was for me. And I realized I wanted to do more. So obviously, watching a little bit of TV, seeing things on TV just kind of brought me into the realm of delving into the paranormal aspect of it, and knew that there was more out there that I wanted to know to kind of understand the depth and give answers to people. So that was basically how I went into the paranormal side of it. Our mission really is to help people that are afraid to reach out, go in and investigate, give them clarity, give them answers, and do whatever we can to help spirit and the client, because I'm very much about helping the spirit as I am the client, and kind of bringing that whole process together and giving as much documentation as we can as a team as a whole, and just being able to give answers to things that some people have dealt with for years. Anybody want to add to that?
This is Lee. For me personally, it's something that I've always been interested in, and just happened to luck out that my husband is as well. Ironically, I had seen a spirit at his apartment when we first started dating. Never said anything because, like, how do you tell somebody, hey, dude, your house is haunted? One day we were watching TV and he saw me. I kept looking away from the TV and over into the kitchen area, and he was like, oh, you see her? I'm like, really, dude? You never said anything to me. So we got a good laugh about it, and we started to do some investigations in Florida where we lived. That was kind of our me time, was going to different places throughout Florida for the weekend and just investigating the paranormal. His career brought us to Mississippi, and I firmly believe that there's no such thing as accidents. Like, everything that happens in our lives happens for a reason and brings us to certain places and times for certain things. For me personally, it was to meet these 3 amazing people that have literally become family overnight.
Yeah, it's great to have a paranormal family, someone that you can relate to and have common experiences and whatnot. It's very cool and awesome, and I really love mine. So what was your guys' first investigation?
Which one?
Our very first investigation as a whole team together was a private client in Tennessee. It was one that Shannon had been in contact with for a good time, and the house itself kind of found her a while back, and she, with the help of our historian and everyone else along, we finally found it, and we contacted them, and there was a lot going on, unsurprisingly. And it was, I think it was really awesome for our very first one. We got a lot of great evidence at it. We worked really well together, and everything went really smooth. Yeah, it was. It was a really big deal for me, personally. It was the very first investigation that I ever completely opened myself up at. And it was extremely overwhelming and very energetic, and I didn't understand a lot of things that were going on, and I was running around like the Energizer Bunny, literally everywhere. But Shannon she kept my feet on the ground, and then the rest of the team was just kind of like woo-hooing me the whole time. So it was a really awesome experience together, especially being our very first investigation.
Robin's asking in the chat room, do you guys cleanse people's houses?
We do. It is something that we'll actually speak with the private client about prior to doing a cleansing. But yes, there have been situations where we have gone in and done cleansings and blessings. We actually have a private client that we're working with now that even prior to the investigation, because there's so many different facets to what they're dealing with, that I've actually gone in and done, originally I did a blessing, and secondly I did a cleansing to kind of calm the activity down that they're dealing with. and we'll go in and do the investigation, and then we'll, continue with them and do as much as we can. And again, do another cleansing and then close with a blessing. But yes, we do cleansings when it warrants.
Awesome. Do you find that different things work for different entities and situations?
I do. I am not a huge fan of actually sage, and I know a lot of people are. I just feel like, personally, sage can be used in too many different rituals and things out there, and if people do not know what they are doing, sage is such a go-to. And Caden, I think, puts it best. It's actually just a Band-Aid. If a person does not know how to use sage. Sage is not something I commonly use.
But yeah, to reiterate, my thing is, sage is like a Band-Aid. You have to clean the wound before you can put the bandage on. And most of the time, our go-to is Palo Santo. And I just like the way she says it. I can't, my accent is too thick. It doesn't come out right. So,
Palo Santo.
It's actually holy wood. And we use it, if any of you guys keep up with this on Facebook, we actually use it at the Monroe house. We always use it first. We use it on ourselves. We also use it on our vehicle, our equipment. We use it on everything. Shannon has her ritual that she does with it, her blessing that she does with it. And then whenever we get that wound cleaned up with the Monroe house, we went back after all that and finalized with sage. And that just kind of sealed the deal. So, I mean, it's like you're closing, you're putting that bandage on, everything's clean, so you're good to put the bandage on.
Yeah, I love Palo Santo, and I actually use both when I do cleansings. But I do it in the reverse of you guys. I start with the sage, and then I finish off around the doorways and windows and such with the Palo Santo. And even in my personal life, if I start to feel anxious for some unknown reason or whatever, I'll just take it out, and I don't even have to light it just to smell it. It's amazing, the medicinal properties or whatnot that it has, that it can affect you and your environment in that way.
Not to mention it smells amazing.
Yeah.
It does. It's so good.
Oh. Yeah, I just, to reiterate, this is Shannon again. There's so many people out there that think on their own that they can go in and sage their house without having any experience. And it's just not a good idea if you don't know what you're doing. So I kind of want to just push that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you guys another question. What to you is the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator?
Oh, boy.
Are you trying to open up a can of worms?
Yep.
Yeah. In my opinion, a ghost hunter is strictly somebody going out and they are looking for an apparition. They are looking for a manifestation. They are looking for that evidence. I use the term evidence, but they're looking for the shock factor. A paranormal investigator breaks it down into the whys, the who's, the what's, and the hows. We don't want to just see it. We want to know why. We want to know why it's there. We want answers to the reasons. Go with it.
So, do you teach people, as far as how to cleanse their house themselves? Because it's not like a one and done sort of thing. It's kind of like house cleaning. You got to do it periodically. Do you teach them how to do that and self-empowerment as far as, having faith in themselves that they are stronger than this entity and this is their home and, a safe place for them, and they can learn how to take these steps to protect themselves in the future?
Yes, most definitely. Us going in and doing a cleansing for someone and then just, we walk out the door never to be heard from again is truly pointless for them. We're not doing anybody a service if we don't teach them how to probably do it themselves. We don't live with them. We can't be there 24/7. So if we don't give our clients the tools to help themselves, then it's like we never went there. So we educate our clients on, what to do when, and remind them that they do have the power, that is their home, and it's theirs to protect. So we definitely teach our clients what to do, where to get, where they can order stuff and whatnot to make sure that they can continue with what we've taught them. And we're always available for our clients after the investigation. If at any time a private client, has a question, by the time they're done, they can have all our numbers. They can call us back individually or send us a message on our team page. It's not a one and done thing for us. We hold our private clients very near and dear to our hearts, and we build a personal relationship with them, and that's very important to us.
Yeah, and to follow on that, we set ourselves aside from the rest, because when we deal with a private client, we don't just see them as a client. We literally embrace them as a family member, and we make sure that they know, even if the situation gets under control or the whatever they're dealing with, if it completely dies down, that if they just have questions or concerns, that they can still email us, text us, call us, whatever they need to. Our lines are always available. It may take, a little bit for us to get back, but we will always get back to them.
And to follow up too, I'm probably the energy junkie of the group. I talk a lot about energy. And it blows my mind the amount of people that do not understand energy and how energy works. So when we go in and we talk to clients, and being a medium, you can also kind of read people. You have that intuition. And, trying to explain to them about vibrating higher and how your emotions can trigger elementals, energy, spirit, giving them that understanding too, to where they can understand, how they affect what's going on as well. As a team, we do a lot of research, and we give a lot of information when we go in and deal with a private client.
So, where do you guys investigate? Do you ever travel to an investigation?
Yes, we do. Although we are based out of Mississippi, there's really nowhere we won't go. We've done a private client in Tennessee. We actually recently did the Monroe House in Indiana. We've got a couple of other places in Mississippi and Tennessee that we're going to, Alabama. There's possibly Texas. We have a client that's reached out to us in Texas as well.
Indiana.
Yeah, we don't just cover Mississippi. We really cover everywhere. And for private clients that are hours away from us, we go ahead and do our. I just lost my train of thought. See, this is live, guys. Sorry.
No worries.
Preliminary. How do you say it?
Oh yeah, our preliminary
investigation over the phone. That way, we get all the details. We know what we're dealing with before we get there, and we kind of get a sense of the client and their lifestyle, so that we know, okay, this is what's going on. This is what they believe is going on. This is what's happening. This is their faith background, because a lot of people, they they don't understand that, somebody's faith background does play a part in how you should deal with them. And we're so diverse as a team that we do homework. Yeah. We have a lot of homework. And our
Yes,
previous
yes, we do.
homework was researching different types of religion. So if we're not familiar with a certain type, then we'll do research until we just can't research anymore just for that particular client to meet their necessary needs. So, we do focus on private clients, but we also do public places and what some people consider hot spots, because a lot of these places, the bigger places and the public places, they do have spirits there that will either reach out to one of the mediums or have reached out to somebody that we know of that's contacted us, like, hey, I have, some spirits here that we've been trying to contact. I know they're trying to tell us something. Can you guys come out and help? And chances are it's because, those particular spirits are wanting to cross and pass over. And that is something that we as a team, we pride ourselves in, is helping those, whether alive or past, helping them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's our goal as well, to help people on this side and the other, and everybody has different needs. So can you explain to people, like, the term the light? Is that where you cross people over to, or where exactly do you think people go on the other side?
My personal feelings and what I've been shown is crossing over isn't necessarily what a lot of people think it is. Initially, sometimes spirit can get lost, kind of in the travel situation, I guess is the best way to put it, in between the parallels. And crossing over allows them guidance to go to the light. Sometimes people, call that heaven. I call it heaven. But spirit, again, is energy. It's free will to do. We give them guidance on how to get to the light, to go into the light. And once they cross over and make that journey, then, they have their free will to come back and communicate, do what they need to do as far as speaking to family, any kind of closure that they need. And I'm going to let Allisa say a little bit about that too.
I just recently got my first personal one-on-one hands-on view with crossing over from my own perspective. And mine is a lot like Shannon. We use a flashlight a lot of the time when doing a crossover, or if a spirit requests us to cross them over. Simply because, to me, I think it's a little easier. Some people kind of like to create what they call mini portals, I guess, and send people through them and then close the portal out. We don't do that. We found it's just easier to use a flashlight. And if we can get them to use and go towards it, most of the time we capture some really good orbs that way too. The last couple of times we've done it, we caught a lot. At the Monroe house we had a lot, and it was initially just one spirit who kept requesting to cross over, so that's what we did. And then there was, I guess, I think they said 9 is what we had counted on our footage, is what you can see literally just running, like they go into where the light's beaming, and it's pretty awesome to watch.
Very emotional.
Yes, it is.
So, have you guys investigated crypto and UFO? And if so, what have you found?
As far as a UFO, we have not gotten any cases to that. That's more of what we're just researching right now, because before we can take a case on it, we're just not familiar with it quite yet. So I think we all kind of agree that we're not familiar with the situation in order to take it on. We do have other teams that specialize in UFO fields, so we just kind of send them. If we ever were to get one, we would probably just turn that over to them because they are more experienced in it than us. As far as crypto goes, the only one that we had is the Monroe House that we just did, where I encountered Wendigo family in the basement. So that one was that was just a whole different ball game in itself for me, especially.
We all had to kind of dig in deep.
Yeah, it took about 2 hours of digging and what I described and the mannerisms of it and how I felt when I seen them, and then we did some history stuff on the location itself, and within that region we found 2 tribes that were highly recognized for Wendigo activity. So yeah, that's the only thing that we've encountered thus far that we can without a doubt say yes, this was cryptid.
That's awesome. So what exactly is Wendigo?
So, and again, all this is information that we have looked up between books from the library, because me and Lee are nerds when we go to the library still, and things that you can Google. From my understanding, a Wendigo is a shaman, usually a shaman, that when they're practicing, they go more towards the darker side, and they end up delving into cannibalism. And Wendigo is actually something that is still used to this day. Not necessarily remember what it's called, but it's like either Wendigo syndrome or something like that. And they basically refer to it as somebody who is a cannibal. And the folklore says that when somebody becomes a cannibal, that they start turning into this monster. And I don't even know how to explain, because the ones that I've seen is not like the pictures that you're really going to find. I found 2 that look close to what I've seen, but most of them you're going to see them with the head of a stag or, head of some weird-looking animal that looks zombified. But, yeah, as far as folklore goes, it's going to be somebody, usually a shaman, that has resulted into cannibalism, that has turned into this just monstrous creature that preys on people.
That's creepy. So we got a couple.
Trust me, it's very creepy.
Yeah. you can keep that critter.
I'll share.
That's okay. I'm all good on that. So Robin in the chat room is wondering, do you have a favorite place you've investigated and would like to return to?
This is Lee. For me, there's 2 of them. The Link Center in Tupelo, Mississippi, simply because we had amazing, hysterical interaction through a sensory deprivation with a gentleman that called himself Mr. Henry, and he was just a riot. That was probably one of the most fun investigations that I personally have done. The second would be the Monroe House. Personally cannot wait to go back. There was just so much there that it's definitely a multi-visit place, not one of those one and done. I can't wait to go back there. That would be where Caden encountered the Wendigos and everything else that went on in there.
Yeah. So did you encounter them while you were blindfolded, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so Shannon and Allisa, since there are mediums, they do what's called a sensory deprivation, which I'll let them go into that later. But for me, I'm the one on the team that I can't even feel energy shifts unless it's something. It has to be, a lot of energy in one area for me to feel it. And so I told him, I was like, I have something I want to try. I want to be blindfolded. Because, number one, I have a phobia of basements. And I knew that I was going to go to the basement and do it. So I was like, okay, so I'm just going to blindfold myself. That way my eyesight is cut out. And all I can rely on is, my other senses, hearing and feeling, like touching and smell. So I get to the basement and I'm, again, blindfolded. And I joke about it because I'm sitting there and I'm telling myself, you look pretty stupid right now, blindfolded, just sitting in a chair. And then it's like I had, the angel and devil on my shoulders, which was Allisa and Shannon, one in one ear saying, just shut up and say what's going through your mind. And the other one is saying, it's okay, just relax and tell me what you're seeing. So I just kind of let everything go. And then that's whenever, I guess using my third eye, I seen the first Wendigo in the crawl space of that basement. And then followed by another one, what I call, it was you have the second one, and then you have the child, and then Big Papa just kind of came in for the finale. So it was 4 total.
Yeah, one would be freaky, let alone a whole mess of them.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that they didn't scare me. They didn't intimidate me. I got the feeling that they were more curious as to why we were wanting to reach out to them to begin with. It's kind of like that feeling where you have the loner at work or whatever, and somebody just goes up and talks to them. They look at you like, are you really talking to me? Seriously, you're taking the talk to me? That's kind of the feeling I got with them, is that nobody wants to communicate with us. We're just scary individuals. These people are actually wanting to speak to us and make contact. Let's see what they're doing.
Yeah. It's great to have that that gift and that ability to be able to talk to them and help them. So there's a question in the chat room from Charlotte Fleming, and she's asking, do you ever do investigations with family?
So
I guess I'm confused as to the question. Does she mean like take family with us, or?
Yeah, let me look back because she had posted it twice. Towards family. So I guess for them, like as far as they're having any issues there.
Like if our family is having issues, if we would investigate for them.
I'll answer this both ways. In the sense of if we take family with us, no, not really. I mean, we're all kind of a band of misfits anyway. That's what we call ourselves. We're family. Me and Allisa are married. That's about as family as we get. To me personally, like if my mom or my sister wanted to go, I would probably not take them, simply because I would be too worried about their safety as opposed to what I'm there for. And that's me personally. I can't speak on the other ones, but that's just me personally. I wouldn't feel comfortable, and it's not that I don't think that we could protect them. It would just be, I'm scared they're going to fall down these stairs. Are they going to start freaking out when something happens? And then that could cause even more chaos with us.
And as far as investigating for families, I think it would depend on the type of family member. Sometimes you can be too close to the situation and not necessarily have the mindset that's going to be needed to help assist them. So that might, maybe a situation where you want to bring in a fresh eye, so another team that you're close to come in and help. If it's a family, per se, a cousin or something that you're not real close to, then yeah, I could see, going in and doing, investigations with them. I think that would just be a situational type answer.
Do you guys ever charge for your services?
Never.
Never, ever.
Yeah, we don't either. I personally feel like I would be taking advantage of somebody because I don't feel like there is a lot of help out there for people and not a lot of places that they can go and feel comfortable talking about their issues. But we do other things to raise money, like selling cleansing kits and doing ghost hunts and such. But yeah, to charge for that, I just feel I would be taking advantage, and I'm not keen on it.
Yeah, and we feel the exact same way. It kind of defeats the purpose to say that we're a team that's here to help other people and then turn around and be like, oh, yeah, well, if you want us to come help you, it's going to cost X amount of money. We don't do that. We cover our own expenses, gas and food and lodging and, whatever it takes. We use our own, personal time from work. When we have to go somewhere, the thought of ever charging a private client to go help them has never crossed our mind, nor will it ever.
That's good. So, what was the most haunted location that you guys have investigated so far?
Definitely the Monroe house.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that house offers a little bit of everything.
Literally.
It's a smorgasbord. Yes, it is literally a buffet of paranormal.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of your experiences there?
Oh, gosh.
Caden should start that way.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Caden, why don't you let us know?
No, we'll save the best for last. We'll save the best for last. Y'all go ahead. Ladies first. I'm pulling the card. Ladies first.
Fine. Okay, this is Lee. I'll go first. Shannon gives us a lot of homework, and homework in the sense of to make us better as individuals, better as a team. One of us had mentioned before, she's, a teacher and a mentor to all of us. And so her homework always has some sort of reasoning behind it. There's always an end game to her plan. A lot of the times when she assigns a homework, most of us are looking at each other like, what the heck is she getting at? But we do our homework, and it's every single time has been eye-opening. Caden and I joke, we call each other the lame and ungifted on the team. I can get energies off people. I, can pick up people's intentions and things like that, but that's about it. Nowhere near what Shannon and Allisa are capable of. And Shannon knows that. So one of my homeworks was to meditate. I am a mom of 6, a wife, a teacher. My brain does not stop. I can't meditate. I could not meditate to save my soul. That was one of my homeworks. And it really came to play at the Monroe house. And I was able to truly open up myself in a way that I've never been able to open up before, and had such a deep and personal experience. I honestly, I'd rather not go into complete detail, but I was truly in tears by the time I was done, but it was cleansing tears. Like, I felt like a completely different person by the time I was done, in a very positive way. Allisa?
Oh boy. I don't even really know where to begin about the Monroe house. It was that I'm going to use Shannon's word, phenomenal. For me, I got more insight on a couple of different, I don't know what gifts that I had when I was there. They became a lot more clearer to me. It was really just a phenomenal experience, and I cannot wait to go back. The things that house offers for someone who wants to understand the paranormal or even get a grasp on it is unreal. It's really the best way I know to say it, because the whole thing was one big phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
Like from the time that we arrived to the time that we pulled out of that city was one huge phenomenal experience. Yeah. I hit my phenomenal point, but yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome. Caden, I think it's your turn, right? The ladies first.
Got one more.
Okay.
Honestly, for me, I've been to the Monroe House 2 other times. So I kind of took a step back this time. Like I said, we gave the team homework and allowed them to kind of shine, so to speak. And I was not let down. They all stepped up and did what they needed to do. There was a moment upstairs, which the upstairs of that house is not my friend. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it doesn't like me, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I finally went up there, and actually it was a different room than the room that I had an issue with on a previous visit. But one of our new team members, Cody, that is part of our astral team, noticed that the lanyard, how do you say that? What's that?
The planchette.
The planchettes on the Ouija boards were actually in place on the Ouija boards, which apparently is a big no-no. And we went into the room, and when Allisa and I both went into the room, you felt nothing but portals. Huge. And we went into the room and brought Cody in, and were able to close the portals in that room, which was not something I had ever done before. So that was pretty profound for me. It was a very big deal. And now for Caden.
Okay. So the moment that stuck out the most for me there was actually it was the first day that we were there. I'll just go ahead and tell them myself, because I don't care. People learn from others' mistakes, so learn from mine. I made the rookie mistake, and when I got there, we had done our prayer before we got in, and we were setting up. And I just said, Monroe, I want you to show me why you're famous. But I do not want you to hurt me. You cannot hurt my team. But in a sense, I did challenge the house. I wanted for it to show me why it was so famous and why so many people, have this stigma towards it, where it's a demon house, is what everybody says. It's a demon house. It's a horrible house. It's crazy. You're going to get hurt, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was my dummy mistake. Well, that night I don't even know, we just came from downstairs.
We had just closed the portal.
Yeah, we
outside to kind of get some fresh air
and I was actually in the middle of messaging Cody back and thanking him, and we were just all talking, and all of a sudden I just felt a sharp pain just right in my heart, or not my heart, my lung area on the right side. And I was just like, oh man. And I honestly, at first, I thought, okay, I need to lay off the energy drinks, or I'm smoking too much. No. I was like, crap, man. And then I literally felt it's like a knife twisting in my rib, and like I don't know what my face looked like. I just remember I gasped and said, "Oh, insert word here."
Yeah.
And then when I felt it twisting, and then Shannon and Lee, Alicia and Allisa like screaming like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I can't talk. I literally feel this knife get pulled out of me, and it stabs me again a little closer to the heart. And with that second stab, it drops me like a sack of taters. I mean, I went to the ground. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, that came out real
hate
southern.
to interrupt, but we're going to pause there on sack of taters and go to our first break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The first annual Caribou Paracon is happening September 28th to 30th in the 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Brought to you by the Canadian Society of Questers and Spaced Out Radio. Come listen to our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Elizabeth Anglin, Paisley Town, Mike Moran, Eric Cooper, and more. It's a 3-day supernatural adventure at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Tickets for the weekend are $150 Canadian. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us and bring your questions for us to investigate right here on Spaced Out Radio.
There's news, and there's The Encounter. This is Spaced Out Radio News Director Everett Beamer inviting you to check out The Encounter. Our half-hour news segment every Monday through Friday night is different compared to what you're used to. Our goal is to bring you the weird, strange, and interesting stories the mainstream tends to leave out, and stories that will make you scratch your head in disbelief. The Encounter can also be found at spacedoutradio.com and on our Facebook page, SOR The Encounter. Come give us a read.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. Here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa N Thomas. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. And you can follow Tessa on Twitter at Tessa TNT. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in tonight. We have Death Stalkers Paranormal. You guys, welcome back and thanks so much for being on the show.
Hello again.
Hello. Alright, so we ended on your story, Caden, at the point where you dropped like a sack of taters. Can you continue on with that story?
Sure can. So I ended up, I with the second stab, I ended up dropping, and I couldn't speak. It was instant tears. I couldn't get anything out except for it stabbing me, and that's all I could get out. And Shannon saying, go get the crystals. So she starts doing her Reiki stuff. Madre, which is Lee, we call her Madre. Madre has her hands on my stomach, I think, or
kind of on your sternum.
Yeah, on my sternum where I'm like holding, and she's just praying. Like, I don't know, her praying would have put the Pope to shame as hard as she was praying. Allisa ran and got the crystals, and I was, I'll try. I'll keep that comment to myself. I had a lot of crystals on me, regardless. I had everybody's crystals, like, all over me. And she's, she's actually trying to locate what is on me, hurting me. And then Alicia actually was acting as a barrier. She put her hands on my head and created this bubble that just made me forget what was going on and just keeping everybody's voices out of my head just so I can focus on my breathing and control it and, self-empower myself so that I can get my shield going back, because it was literally a struggle. Like, it was like I was trying to shield myself, and whatever this thing was like, not today, and would just twist that knife in me. I mean, I just felt it twisting. I've never felt anything like that. And the final blow was directly to the heart, the third and final.
Mhm.
And that one is the one that it made me jolt. I bursted out into tears. Like, I mean, I was just crying in agony. I've never felt pain like that. It was bad. So, you know, that's whenever somebody had contacted Cody, I think.
I did.
Yeah, Allisa had contacted Cody to assist her in Astral. A lot of people like you and Robert and a couple of other people had sent your stuff, you know, the white light my way and healing powers my way to help cope with that. After it was all said and done, I was sitting there, like, you know, we're still trying to figure out what the crap just happened. And inside the living room, which is the door that was to my left, because we were literally just outside.
Mm-hmm.
The flashlight in there next to Command Central just started going off. And then all I remember is Shannon was like, "Is that you that hurt Caden?" And I guess it came on because she had yelled out, "It's in here, it's turning on the flashlight." So her and Allisa go inside, and they actually commenced to a flashlight session, contacting right then and there. I mean, this was just 30 seconds after I'm able to breathe, and they brought the charged water that we got, that we brought from home, making me drink it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so while they're doing a flashlight session, I get my composure back where I can breathe, and I go inside because I'm that type of person. You hurt me, okay, I respect what you can do now, because I realized I was like, crap. Well, I didn't think I was provoking, but clearly I did. So I was going to go confront it and, you know, be like, look, I understand. I respect your power now, but you're not allowed to do that again. I have my higher ups with me. I have my angels watching over me. I have our members who are healers and light workers. They are watching over me and praying over me. You showed me what you can do. You answered what I said. Thank you for that, but you're not allowed to do it again. And on the video itself, you'll see me grab it. And then as I'm saying, you understand that you cannot hurt me anymore. And at that time, I felt a hand, and I know exactly what it is and what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the hand go in between my ribs on the right side and hold my heart in its hands and start to squeeze. And you can actually hear me. You can actually hear me on the video whimper and like gasp for air, just like crap, crap, crap. And you know, you'll hear Shannon tell me to sit down, and I vote for outside. And that's whenever you guys, thank you for that as well. Thank you. I'll never be able to tell you thank you enough.
Oh, no worries.
You guys started sending light back towards me and prayers back towards me. And I mean, as soon as I went outside, I mean, it was gone. It was just kind of a final, now you know exactly what I can do and what I can make these other things do. And it was definitely a learning experience, and it was a humbling experience for myself, because it just goes to prove that you, just like with any job, don't get complacent at all.
Yeah.
Things can change at a drop of a hat, for sure. Yeah, and it did, because after that, we didn't have any issues at all. And it was quiet the rest of the night. It was just kind of like, you know, before we went to sleep, it just wanted to prove, let me just show you what I can do. And it did. And it's like, all right, sleep well, because we're going to get back at it the next day.
Yeah. Well, I had asked you because you developed that really bad cough afterwards, and I was like, man, is it connected? But you said you were sick before you went. Do you think it escalated it, or do you think it would have done that anyways?
Well, I mean, honestly, and I'm thinking the other three with me, they will disagree. Me, I'm logic, because I'm a man and I'm just difficult. I'm thinking logically. I had the cough before we went to Monroe. My allergies started messing up a couple of days prior to it. Now, the house itself did have a lot they're over here making fun of me. The house itself, I'm sure, did play a role into it as far as my cough getting worse. And, I mean, me getting hit in the lungs and hit in the heart, I mean, yeah, it's going to make my cough. Gee, yeah. But, you know, I'm getting better. Like, I still have a slight cough, but we got checked out. You know, we have another astral team that we're mutual friends with, and you know, Shannon and Allisa and Cody, they had checked all of us out to make sure we all didn't have attachments when we left. We prayed, we did our closing ceremony that we always do. And then whenever we all got home, we waited. You know, we usually wait 2 to 3 days, and then we check back in. Is anybody having anything, you know, happen to them? Is anybody, you know, experiencing anything? And then we kind of do a follow-up check where, you know, Shannon will astral to us, Allisa will astral to them. Just be like, okay, you're see, as I'm talking. You know, everything is clear, and then we follow up ourselves once we get home with the
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. Yeah.
I feel so used sometimes. It's not even funny.
But yeah, I just want to assure people. Yes, I'm sure that it did play a role into it getting worse there for a while, but a lot of that was already previous to the investigation as far as allergy-wise goes.
Okay. Well, let's go to a question in the chat room, and this one's from Melanie, and she's asking, so you guys do lots of training and studying. Do you do monthly meetings, or how do you do that?
Go ahead, Shannon. Okay. No, we don't necessarily have monthly meetings. We actually talk daily. And when I say daily, it's pretty much all day.
A lot.
Yeah, off and on. But it's kind of, I dig and I research and I look for things and different things that we're dealing with or different things that come up or listening to guidance. I bring things in, I send articles out, and allow the group to look at them, and then we kind of come together and we discuss it. So it's not, per se, meetings that we have, because it's ongoing. It's always ongoing.
We don't go more than 2. I think the longest we go without all seeing each other is honestly like 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Because we all live at least in distance 2 hours apart. And so it's not like we're just right down the road from each other or necessarily in the same town. But it doesn't matter because we still manage somehow to all end up in the same place. We don't go any longer than that, like 3 weeks without seeing each other. And we speak to each other kind of like you would your mom or your dad, I guess, if you had a good relationship with them. I mean, we talk daily, like you said.
That's good. It's good to have that closeness. We try to get together at least once a month and, you know, eat together and laugh together and, you know, learn different things. But it is ongoing. Sometimes it's overwhelming. We're like, man, if we could just go out and hunt for fun, that would be awesome. But we haven't had time for that recently.
Yeah, we joke about, you know, whenever we all, like, get really great paying jobs, that we're just going to buy a compound and be that weird group of people that everybody thinks is a cult, but we're really not.
Yeah.
Have private tunnels to each other's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the strangest case you guys have worked thus far?
The abandoned house in Baldwin was the strangest case.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baldwin, I'll start it, and then I'll let them 2 or 3 finish. The Baldwin house that we worked on is a house that me and Allisa got told about a couple of years back, and the the couple that told us about it, they told us, their experience. They had went there to rent it out, and when they showed up, there was crosses and crucifixes all over the doors, on the porch and everything. It was just weird automatically. So they're telling us, their experiences and whatnot. We spent 3 years because they couldn't remember the address because it had been years prior to it. Like, it was just a random conversation that we had. And so after a couple of years, we finally got the address to it, went out there, and this place had been ran down. Like, squatters have just came in and ruined the place. And as soon as me and Allisa went in there, she said that she just felt it, like it was like a hit. So I brought out, one of our pieces of equipment, and she plugged into it and just started seeing what she could get. And they just kept, one guy in particular came through, and 3 kids, saying, Shannon, we need Shannon. Get Shannon here. So I call Shannon. She's telling me what it's saying. So I call Shannon. I'm like, hey, look, we found the house, and they're wanting you. And then Allisa is like yelling out the answers that she's getting. We're ready to cross. We need Shannon. Because at that particular time, Allisa was still very new to this, and seeing spirits over she hadn't learned. So, fast forward, the team gets there.
So we get to the house and we go in. And mind you, at this time, we also had a production company.
Yeah.
Production company that was 6-shooter studio that was following us to work on our documentary. And we get to the house. This is the first time I've been to the home. Walk around. Didn't really get a lot of feeling from the exterior of the house, but the moment you walk through the threshold, it was very heavy feeling. So we did, initial walkthrough of the property, kind of told them what I was getting. Allisa told them what she was feeling. We go up to one room in particular, and it just had a very heavy darkness to the room. So we decided to do a session in that room. It was off. It was really, really off. And that is the room that the gentleman actually committed suicide in. But the presence that was there was not him. It actually was not of this world. And we sat down and did a flashlight session. And I kind of told the team that I believed that it was not of this world. And we asked the question, and the flashlight immediately came on. And the production company that was there with us, I told it out.
Oh, wow.
So outdrawn. And I told the team it was time for us to pack up and go. And we did. We packed up and left, and we went. And I think it was about 3 weeks later, the house actually burnt to the ground. Now, mind you, this house had been there since like the 1880s.
Wow.
So we ended up, with the house. One of the members got a hold of the fire department, or the fire marshal. One of the fire marshals spoke with them, asking them, do they know what happened? And at the time, they couldn't come up with really much of anything. So, of course, being, curious. Being curious as us, I believe Shannon and Allisa tried connecting to the house to figure out what caused the fire, if it was arson, if it was just a freak accident, because like Shannon said, this house had been there since 1800, and when we were there, there was absolutely zero electricity. All the wires had been cut from that location.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was completely torn out and cut off, or stolen, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But the surprising part about it is the moment that we left the investigation, both of these two, Allisa and Shannon, called it and said that house will burn before we return. And self-destruct before we returned. And sure enough, it did. And they worked the case, and it was determined, that was the cause of it. Y'all can talk more about that because I don't know y'all's heads. I don't think we do sometimes.
Well, BTO from the chat room was wondering, what is the most compelling evidence your group has captured?
I'm trying to think. There's a couple of different ones. Flashlights with Mr. Henry.
We had sensory deprivation with Mr. Henry.
Yeah.
With a private client in Tennessee, we got quite a few things answered for him, and gave him some closure that he was looking for, and that was pretty profound. Monroe House, we got some pretty good.
We're still
there going.
Monroe House was so extensive that it's been 3 weeks since we've been there? 2 or 3 weeks since we've been there, and I'm still a lot of evidence.
We've got some pretty good evidence already for the Monroe House that we're going to put on our page here shortly. Actually, one of our team pictures, we picked up what appears to be a little girl. It's not a little girl. We have some stuff that we picked up on the voice recorder that we'll be putting on there. When we do crossings, normally I consider them very private and kind of out of respect for spirit, don't post the ceremony. But I think we've decided as a team to kind of post the end of that so people can actually see the orbs go into the light, to see that it actually is real and that it does occur.
You actually will be able to hear the doors knocking against me and you.
Yeah, you can hear the doors when we actually had entities try to come into the room and rattle the doors. Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, we got a shadow person that came across the screen.
I think, pretty much we haven't had an investigation that we haven't had great evidence, some really compelling evidence. I think most people and our members may agree on this. Between the sensory deprivations and the flashlight sessions are, to us, that's kind of our most popular right now.
Those are our favorite potential features, and they're the simplest.
So have you guys ever experienced something that has terrified you? I know, Caden, that experience you had was probably pretty terrifying. Is there anything else you guys can think of that just scared your socks off?
I've actually had 2 experiences. One of my experiences was at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. I was actually held down in the bed trying to sleep one night there. And that, quite honestly, at the age of 43 years old, was the only time I had experienced anything paranormal that really scared me. The second time was at the Monroe House. The energy upstairs that completely drained me, and I was sick for about 7 hours. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm not really sure. It was horrifying. Other than watching Caden experience what he experienced, for me, it didn't. I don't really have one that's necessarily horrifying. I have been way uncomfortable a couple of times because I wasn't quite sure what I was dealing with. And that's all, I guess, for anybody that would be an uncomfortable situation, no matter what. Like when you really just cannot get a grip on what you're dealing with or what it is there. It's an unsettling feeling because you don't know what to be prepared for, so you're trying to be prepared for everything. And at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, I got scratched really, really and hard, and my skin burned very, very badly.
and I was extremely uncomfortable because I had no idea when. I still, till this day, can't figure out when it happened. I just know my arm felt like somebody had kind of like walked up to me with a cigarette lighter and just kind of stuck it on my arm for a minute. And I looked down, and I had these huge, long gashes going down my arm, and my arm was sore. And I was really uncomfortable because I had no idea what had happened, when it had happened, or I was really nervous. Really, really nervous.
For me personally, it was definitely the Monroe house and what happened to Caden. I've never experienced anything like that before. I actually, after we were all settled and it was done and we were all kind of like back to normal as normal can get for us, I looked at Caden and I told him if he ever put me through that again, I was going to whoop his behind right then and there. You know, he calls me Madre because I'm the mom of the team. Well, I was about to show him what a ticked off mama wolf is capable of.
Yeah.
The Puerto Rican in me was going to come out in full force, and he was not going to like it. I've never prayed that hard for someone ever in my life, and I've only put my hands on two people my whole life to pray over them. One was my dad, as he was transitioning from this life to the next 2 years ago when he was sick with lung cancer and heart issues. And I didn't even pray for him as hard as I did for Caden that night.
Yeah, that had to be so scary. Like when you get that attack and you know, you don't know what to do and things you're trying just don't seem to work. It's like a really scary thing. I'm so glad that it subsided because, I mean, I don't know. Those are scary situations to get over and wrap your mind around even, you know. How is this possible?
Right. I mean, like at home I have 4 of my 6 kids live at home, and my youngest are 12-year-old twins. They're gifted as well. They are very much into what we do. They cannot wait till they're 18 to hopefully join the team. I told them they have a few years, and that's questionable. But one of my girls kept saying, like, Mama, don't bring anything home. Like, don't make me battle anything that you bring home. And then Caden pulls this nonsense. I'm like, boy, I told my girls I would not bring anything home. I'm going to hurt you. Like, enough is enough. Like, the mama in me came out.
Do as I say, not as I do, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So, Bernie in the chat room is asking, do you guys all sleep in the same room together? And I'm assuming he means on investigations.
Yeah. Hi, Bernie.
Okay, so, no, usually on an investigation, what we do is, depending on how many of us are there, usually, you know, there's 6 of us, so we'll split up, usually like 3s and 3s. And I know we keep referring back to the Monroe. It's just, it's so fresh on our minds, so that's the easiest one to talk about, and the most that things happened in. With Monroe specifically, we did sleep all in the same room because that house it will divide you. I mean, we had been told of quite a few paranormal teams that had came in and disbanded shortly after visiting there. And it's not that we were scared that it was going to break us apart, because we have a bond that's unbreakable. But it was more or less after the situation that happened with me. For that particular house, we just chose to sleep in the same room because we didn't want anybody else to get hurt or anybody else to be attacked, and the whole team not be there, because it took the whole team plus some to help me with my situation. Now, usually when we go on an investigation, no, we all don't sleep in the same room.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to use different tactics.
Exactly.
Someone in the chat room is asking, where is the Monroe House?
It's in Hartford City, Indiana.
9 hours away.
It's about 9. It was a 9-hour drive for us.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of your clips on the road and stuff.
Yeah. I'm telling y'all, we're literally a band of misfits, and we are. I assure you, we do have a lot of fun, but we are extremely professional when we are there.
Yeah.
On the way there,
I can't say that. No, we have fun, and we all vibrate. And it goes back to what Shannon said. Your energy and what your energy level is affects your investigation and affects what you're going to get from a situation. And we all vibrate at such a high level. All of our energies are extremely positive that, I would like to believe that is why we get such compelling evidence when we go somewhere. It's because we are so positive and we are very respectable towards these spirits and clients. We don't go in thinking that we know it all. We don't go in thinking that we're really bad butt. And we always go in with an open mind and with an open heart to whatever we encounter there. We never try to have a predeceived. We don't try to go anywhere and already have our minds made up on how it's going to happen. We just go in as positive as we can and go from there.
So, again from the chat room, someone is asking, can you please define what you all mean by energy?
Sure. I mean, everything in the universe is energy. We're energy. The table sitting in front of us is energy. The chair is energy. Everything is energy. When spirit passes, it is an energy that is on a higher level than what we are used to. I've done a lot of energy research, and you learn about vibrations, vibrating higher, anger being your lowest energy, laughter being your highest energy. And in order for spirit to communicate and communicate well, we need to vibrate at a higher plane in order for you to create that ambiance and that atmosphere for energy to communicate with you, short of draining your batteries and everything else that they do. But it's just, we're all made up of energy. Anybody want to? No C words. No C words. Don't worry, dude.
No C words, Mom.
So have you guys worked any cases where a client either lied or had psychological issues?
We do. We have those are things that we actually ask our clients. We have kind of like little questionnaires / bios, for lack of a better term, that we have our clients answer. And it's a series of questions, and we touch on everything. We ask about mental health issues in the house, drug abuse or drug use in the house. Like, we try not to leave any stone unturned so that we are better prepared to deal with whatever it may be that is going on at that particular location. Are you seriously raising your hand to speak?
I am. I can't wait for you to finish. Just to finish on what Lee was saying, a lot of teams, they refuse to ask those type of questions because they feel like they are digging too deep or badgering the client. No, we need to know, even, between Shannon and between Allisa, they're going to be able to tell if that client is lying about, alcohol use or drug use before they even answer our question. we need to know this, because if you are taking these drugs or if you are on a specific medication, that can affect the energy of the house. If you have, if it's a married couple and all they do is argue, we do need to know that. And everything that they tell us, we do not disclose. That is personal. That is for us and us only. And we need to know if you guys have been arguing lately, because that's going to cause a lot of energy shifts and will explain a lot of activity or potential activity that they are having.
Plus mass hysteria.
Yes, plus mass hysteria.
And if you go into a home where you have somebody who is a user, you can go in there and you can cleanse the home and you can clear out the energy and you can work on the attachment. It's going to come right back. So it's important to know what you're getting into before you ever go in and deal with a private client. Because sometimes you can't help them if they're not willing to help themselves.
Yeah, that's true. We had a case in Bloomfield, and a lot of it stemmed from, her traumatic life growing up. The trauma she had received by abandonment, living in a group home, abuse through foster homes, etc. So yeah, it's funny how that stuff can manifest itself. I mean, she was being scratched, her husband was being pulled off the couch, and it was just crazy stuff. And we did all that we could as far as cleansing and giving them advice, but when we gave her advice that she needs to get some counseling or something for this past trauma that she hasn't ever dealt with, that it might not ever resolve itself. And some people, being of Christian faith or whatnot, just have that complex of it can't be their fault, it's got to be something else, and that's just not the case.
Absolutely. We can only help people as much as they want to help themselves. And if they do not want to disclose truthful information, there's not a whole lot that we can do. There has been times where somebody has asked Shannon in the past for a reading. They gave out false information, and Shannon was able to be like, she asked, "You're giving me false information. I cannot give you a proper reading, if you're not telling me the truth." And that person they would not admit to it or come clean of it, and we just had to cut it off. And with people like that, if we do find out that they are lying, and it's something that, nothing petty, but if it's something that we know for a fact will cause more issues in the future and they just don't want to come clean about it, we can do the best that we can, but that situation is not going to get better until they come clean about it and open up about it and try to fix it. You can't just cover up a problem and try to toss a Band-Aid on it. And eventually that Band-Aid is going to rip off, and it's just a revolving door.
Yeah, true that. BTO is asking, vibrating higher energy or expanding, is energy stuck within this universe, or does it go beyond the universe?
I believe it goes beyond.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I can give.
Yeah. I think we agree as a team. It goes well beyond this universe. Well beyond.
So do you guys use the same techniques from start to finish on an investigation?
No. No. Every investigation is different. So what we do is going to be very much individualized to that particular location. What works in one place may not work in another. So it's not like we have this set routine from A to Z, and we do that everywhere we go. For example, we had one of our private clients in Tennessee. The first time we went there, we just got a plethora of evidence, and we were able to answer questions for him and, help ease his mind about some things. And then
I mean, everything was off the charts. The flashlight sessions, sensory deprivations, it was just awesome. Went back a second time, and the energy felt very different there, and little interaction was almost none. Like, it was sporadic at best. So we had to kind of switch things up and try to work with what we had. Spirit has free will. So if it don't want to talk, it don't want to talk.
So do you guys have a go-to tool that you prefer to use?
No, not really. We mix it up.
We do.
Piece of equipment.
Wait, no.
I have favorites.
Yeah.
My favorites are just a plain Jane EVP recorder and a flashlight. I mean, really, the two basics, those are my two favorite things to use.
I kind of spoilt on Shannon and Alyssa's sensory deprivation session.
Yeah.
I'm spoilt to them. Like, I never...
So now I'm a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Right?
They're my favorite pieces of equipment.
So Melanie's wondering, besides the flashlight, is there another piece of equipment that seems to work well for you guys?
I think that kind of goes back to, what we were just talking about, I think when it comes to our equipment, we're pretty basic right now. We found that with the style that we do, it works best for us.
When we pull off the SLS, it's never failed us. We do have a gyroscope that we're still trying to figure out. It seems to be, it has its own mind apparently. But no, we go from the portal to the SLS and sensory deprivation, flashlight, cameras, voice recorders,
DVR.
Yeah, DVR. And we've gotten evidence off of everything. FLIR.
So that kind of goes to my next question. Like, what do you pack for an investigation? And you basically just covered everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Everything but the kitchen sink, really.
Do you guys rely upon your intuition a lot?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would answer that yes.
Caden's sitting over here, what intuition most likely. But yes, I mean, we trust each other's intuitions. There's never, if one person on the team says something doesn't feel right, we need to go outside for a minute, we're all just like, okay, and we all walk out together. It's not, well, what are you feeling? Like, well, I don't feel it, so maybe you should be the one to go outside and the rest of us stay in. We trust each other impeccably when it comes to our intuition.
So, yeah, the SLS camera is like one of those tools that I really just want to add to my my toolkit. Those look really cool. And we've had experiences in our own house with the Xbox Connect, just going off on its own, looking around, or even when the kids would be playing on it, another figure would appear in there, and it would really freak them out. They ended up not using it anymore. We unplugged it and put it away.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, but they weren't digging it much.
I can imagine.
So, do you guys use a medical form just in case something happens to you or are found unresponsive? And that's a question from Melanie in the chat room.
As in, like, the paperwork form? We do. We have paperwork for investigations, but all of us are also certified and trained in the medical field in multiple different ways in some form or fashion. So, yeah, between medical and law enforcement, we're
all of us are certified in one way or another. So, when it comes to first aid or emergencies or, like you said, unresponsive, we can do what we need to do until somebody gets there.
So you had mentioned Ouija boards earlier. Do you guys actually use those on your investigations?
No!
Me neither.
Did you get the enthusiasm on that?
Yeah, in the Monroe house, they actually have what they refer to as the Ouija board room, and there is actually 2 Ouija boards that they leave in there, and that was what I was referring to. But no, we do not use them on investigations. We don't do Ouija. We don't do seances.
That's good. Good to hear. I had my mentor and her daughter, they used Ouija board like a cell phone and asked me if I'd like to do that with them or join them in a seance. And I was like, no, I think I'm okay on that. I'll film it if you want, but I don't want to partake.
Yeah, no. We don't even, if it's our investigation that we're like the main team, and it's ours. If another team is with us or if somebody's there and they want to use it, no, absolutely not. We will not allow them to.
Time to go.
If we are, the guest to someone else's and they choose to use it, we will excuse ourselves very respectfully and let them do their thing. That's just our beliefs. If anybody chooses to mess with them, great. If you're knowledgeable in the use of them, great. We, however, as a team, we do not like them, and we do not use them.
Matter of fact, one of the first questions we will ask a private client is, have they ever used or delved into the Ouija board? Because it can open some portals that people do not know how to shut.
Mm-hmm.
Or attempted to make contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Monk in the chat room is asking, have you guys ever ran across a physical cryptid on an investigation?
No, not a physical cryptid. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was doing my own version of a sensory deprivation, I was blindfolded and I was strictly using my third eye. And so, no, that with it not being physical, no, it was strictly in a spiritual way.
So do you guys carry holy water, or you had mentioned water with the silver in it or whatnot, but do you carry holy water or anything along those lines?
We carry crystals and holy water, not holy water, charged water with us. And we do carry sage, and we do carry the
Palo Santo. I'm going to start charging y'all every time you make me say that.
Right?
And
So-
also, I'm a certified Reiki master, so that does come in handy quite a bit.
So, can you explain to our listeners what exactly is charged water? And Bernie just asked that as I was asking it. Great minds.
Yes, that's pretty funny.
I can. Charged water is water that either I myself as a Reiki master has basically blessed, or it's water that we've allowed to sit out under a full moon, just like you do your crystal, and allowed it to charge. Again, it goes back to energy.
So do you guys ever guarantee, well, before I go to that, let's go to BTO's question, and he's wondering, who is the Reiki master? Or Reiki, sorry.
Shannon.
Who is that?
Shannon is Reiki master.
Okay.
She's also a medium and a Reiki master and all-around phenomenal human being.
Oh,
yeah. Wait, while we're on the subject of Reiki, how long have you been practicing?
How long have I been practicing Reiki? About 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
So how important is equipment and technology on a paranormal investigation?
For me personally, the two most amazing pieces of equipment we have are Allisa and Shannon. I'm sorry. Their gifts, like, there's no amount of technology that money can buy that's going to surpass what these two women are able to do and capable of doing.
Aww. It's nice to have equipment to help document our findings, but to us, it's not necessarily it's not. That's a lot of M's.
Yeah.
It is not necessary.
I think sometimes the voice recorder is the most profound piece of
I do
equipment
too.
we
Yeah.
have.
Like the
So-
basic stuff you can literally buy at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys, we some of our equipment, it did cost a pretty penny, but we are also resourceful. We are very resourceful. So some equipment, take the REM pod. It makes it, when a spirit gets closer, if anything gets close and is of a different energy, it'll go off. It'll make pretty sounds and pretty lights. Okay, well, we got, what was that, like $1? $1?
Oh my God,
Yeah, I'm so going here, and they work. We use the toilet sensors that are $1, and you walk by and it lights up. Hey, they're $1, and let me tell you, they work. So not always the most expensive equipment is the best. Sometimes you just got to be a little resourceful to make it work. And they hang on doorknobs. They're great.
And what were you calling that again?
Those are they're actually toilet sensors. Like, you put them next to the toilet, so when you walk in there, it lights up so that you don't miss the toilet, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
You have to turn off the toilet light. It hangs on the toilet rim like a freshener.
Yeah.
Robert said.
Yeah, exactly. It's a toilet sensor.
I'm going to have to get me some of those.
They're fantastic.
But we put them, we've had them for 3 investigations now, and we have used them and have had hits every single time. And every single time they went off, we have caught great light anomalies right next to them.
Like, just put them somewhere. If you have a DVR system or a recording, stick them in a room that you really feel like there might be something going on. Like, if you want to, I guess not everybody might do this, but like, we have we go and put recorders in different areas of the house. Even if we're not in there, we'll just turn it on and stick it in there. Because, that you never know what you can get. And the same thing with the toilet sensors. If you have a camera in there and you can stick that thing somewhere where the camera can see it and just leave it and leave the entire environment where there's no one in there, you can get some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome and cheap, which I really like.
Right? Who knew that toilet sensors would be a great piece of equipment?
Now we know.
Next hot piece of equipment in paranormal.
Just like us, we learn something new every day. You guys just learn something new.
All righty.
That's right. It's important. Learn something new every day.
Yes.
So, let's see. We have 2 minutes before break, but do you guys ever guarantee that you can solve most paranormal problems?
No.
So I would never guarantee anything. We, as a team, are going to try our best. And if we can't fix it, we will reach out to other resources that we think can help us. But I think everybody would agree there's no guarantees in paranormal.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees in life, so you're certainly not going to get any guarantees with the paranormal.
We're not, if it's a case where we are not comfortable with taking, and it's something that we know for a fact is something that we're not capable to handle, like Shannon said, we have other teams and other resources to reach out to get help. We can guarantee to give you help and put you on the right path, but we can't guarantee that we ourselves can fix it or handle that particular case.
So, what do you guys use to communicate with spirits?
Shannon and Allisa. Just like they use me to say Palo Santo all the time, we use them a lot to communicate with spirit. And it's been very successful.
Yeah. We use a portal. We use a voice recorder.
Yeah.
DVR.
I mean, just
flashlight.
Music.
The universal language.
Yes,
I am.
Me too. A lot of people would be amazed at what tossing some good music on for a while can do to amp up the activity. Like, we were playing Native American music in the basement at Monroe, and Pink Floyd and Marilyn Manson upstairs.
Tupelo, we played some Elvis at the League Center. You kind of learn your location.
Jazz.
Yes, you learn the location and what type of music that location is going to connect to most, whether it depends on the era or the geographical location. So it just really depends on where we're at and what type of music we're playing.
Awesome. And on that note, you guys, I hate to interrupt again, but we got to go to our second break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for some great nightlife? The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Catch a game on one of the big screens, or just come rock out to your favorite 80s and 90s hair bands. Great food starting at $6.95. The Moose Vancouver is open until 2 a.m. nightly. It's easy to find near the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Coming September 28th to the 30th, it's our first annual Caribou Paracon, put on by Spaced Out Radio and the Canadian Society of Questers. 3 days of paranormal, supernatural, and spiritual knowledge in the beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Tickets are $150 Canadian for the event, being held at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Come watch our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Lorian Fenton, David Weatherly, Ross Allison, and more. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
When it comes to the news, we look for the stories that the mainstream won't cover. Welcome to Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter. This is News Director Everett Thiemer. The Encounter is about the weird and strange stories that occur daily, and we scour the world looking to bring them to you. You can hear me with Dave Scott every Monday through Friday in our Encounter news segment. Read us online at spacedoutradio.com or check us out and give our Facebook page a like at SOR The Encounter. So come give The Encounter a read.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Find yourself constantly looking up in the sky, looking for answers? Have you had extraterrestrial contact? Are you an abductee? Looking for answers to your experiences? Hi there, I'm R. Keith Andrews, Spaced Out Radio's resident ET expert. Join me live the first Friday of every month, where I take questions from the Spaced Out Radio chat room and help you understand those from the far-off world. It's 2 hours of knowledge every experiencer should listen to. Hope to see you there.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's hour number 3 of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa N Thomas. Follow Tessa on Twitter at Tessa TNT. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now back to the Rocky Mountains. Here's Tessa.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Being it's our third hour, we're taking calls with your questions, or you can even call in with your experiences. And I'm going to give you that number real quick. It's 970-335-9596. It's 970-335-9596. Welcome back, guys.
Hi.
So great to have you guys on. You guys are so much fun.
We're having a great time.
Yeah, I was over here feeling guilty. It's all late over there. It's already 1 o'clock on that end, but I guess the East Coast has it worse.
Hey, we're hanging out, having fun.
We're sitting outside listening to the frogs.
Nice. So can you guys dispel the notion that all spirits are evil while we're waiting for calls?
Oh, boy.
Yes, I will dispel the notion that all spirits are evil, and I actually would like to, in my humble opinion, there is not a spirit that's evil. to me, entities are evil, but spirits are not. Spirits are souls that have passed. So no, I do not believe at all that they are evil.
Yeah, I know coming from the East, I have family members that are pretty old school, and my aunt was, I was telling her what I was doing as far as paranormal investigation and how I protect myself and things like that, and she's like, well, what makes you think that God's going to protect you if you're doing what is not right, and there are no ghosts, they're all demons? And I'm just like, man, even in the Bible, Jesus said, it is I am Jesus, I am not a ghost, and I just don't know where that concept comes from.
Girl, you are preaching to the choir. I swear we're related because I have family members that do the same thing. And I pretty much, my response to them is the same as yours. Bible speaks about the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit, depending on which Christian sect you follow. And angels and whatnot. I mean, there's just as much good as there is evil in the world. And when people ask me, like, how can I call myself a Christian, or how can I believe in God and do paranormal investigating? Easy, because the God I worship, the God that I love, I know has my back. He will always protect me and will protect the people that I love. I'm not worried about going anywhere that most people would feel is, demons or evil or whatever, because it just does not scare me. I'm good within myself. I'm good within my faith, and I take care of those I love. Pure and simple.
Yeah, and I have the belief that, God gave us all certain gifts, and for us not to build on that gift and use it to help our fellow man would be the true sin. And, there's a reason that, we felt like outcasts and weirdos our whole life, basically, around certain people. Because people just have this stipulation or whatever about it. But I believe that these gifts should be built upon and used for the greater good and to help people and to educate people. And I think it's cool with all the shows that are out. Yeah, there's a lot of negative things about them, but it's opening up a lot of people's minds to the fact that there is more out there than just ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
It just goes back to there's such a stigma surrounding the paranormal field, especially here in the Bible Belt where we are. If it's most people around here, they're, old school Southern Baptists, and they think, you mentioned spirit, and here we go, demon. It's got to be a demon. No. There's, and it's the only thing that I go to them, like, do you believe in God? Yes. Do you believe in angels? Yes. Do you believe in demons? Yes. Then why is it such a hard concept to believe that there's a difference between a spirit and an entity? There's clearly a difference between an angel and a demon. If angels can speak to you, these entities can speak to you. Why are you grouping everything underneath a negative category? And, that's kind of one of the things that we hope to do. Not only do we give out knowledge on, how to cleanse your home and clean yourself and just live a more positive lifestyle, but also the stigma behind it. It's not all witchcraft and demons. There's a lot of great things within the paranormal field that you should not be afraid of.
I completely agree, and that brings me to my next question. What can you tell people who are afraid of the supernatural?
I would tell them to respect it, first and foremost. I think a little bit of fear, if you don't know what you're getting into, is good, but it's something that needs to be respected. There's such an extensive realm that encompasses supernatural that it's really, I think it's a fear of the unknown. And once you familiarize yourself with it, I think you can kind of subside that fear, and then it becomes inquisitive and learning and being knowledgeable of it. You're going to fear something you don't understand. You don't have to see it to understand it. I think it's just a misconception.
So speaking of ghosts, do you guys believe that ghosts are stuck in one spot, or can they travel? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I believe I don't call them ghosts, but I just call it spirits. They have free range, free will. Just as we do. Not necessarily. No, I do believe that spirit can choose to remain in a familiar location of something that might be familiar to them, like their home or a family member's home that they spent an allotted amount of their life in. And I have found more so than not, that happens a lot. They stay in places that are familiar to them, but I don't believe personally that they're stuck in one location.
Well, often I've heard of and found certain spirits that seem to be stuck in one place. Perhaps they just like it there. But have you ever heard of like soul collectors, or someone or a spirit or an entity that is able to trap souls in a certain location, such as like nursing homes or hospitals or whatnot?
That's pretty funny that you just said that, because I was just sitting here telling Shannon she needed to talk about what we encountered at the Monroe House, or what we believe is going on at the Monroe House. Yeah, not the Wendigos. Well, okay, so with the Wendigo, they're the puppets, and you have a puppeteer.
Oh, the minions.
Yeah, they're the minions. And what we encountered there, and what we have encountered at another location, is you have this one in particular entity, and I don't know if it's, a soul collector or what, but they kind of, they seem to think that they rule the roost, and they make these other spirits fear them, basically.
Yeah.
Like they manipulate them to thinking that if they leave, that something bad's going to happen, and that they're trapped, when really they're not. They're really manipulated to stay there.
Right.
And my personal opinion, and this is why I love the team, is because we're very diverse. We all have a different way of thinking, and I think that's why we click, because, I think a particular way, Allisa thinks a different way, Lee thinks a different way, Shannon, we all just think differently, so we come out of a situation all different angles. And my opinion on that is we encountered that, and we have discovered that this one particular entity is pulling strings and has made these spirits believe that they are trapped, when indeed they're not. But because it is doing the things that it's doing, it is actually controlling these different spirits, and the Wendigos in particular, into harming people. It's kind of acting as a soul collector, I guess, without the taking of souls. It's kind of taking the fight out of them, the independence out of them. And that's why, with the Monroe House, it is an ongoing case for us, not only with some other information, but also with that particular case. Because whenever we crossed that one in the blue room, when I tell you that there's a war going on at that house between good and evil, and when I mean a war, it's insane on what's going there. You have angels and archangels there trying to help these spirits that are so scared of leaving, and then you have this entity with all of its minions there with its side, and they're just going at it. And I don't know. It's one of those things I've never experienced, and it's crazy, and it's one of those things that makes you scratch your head, for sure.
Yeah, I've come across, not so much like a soul collector, but a spirit. And like you said, you guys seem to go back to a certain case because it's so fresh in your minds. Sometimes it just, strikes you to a certain point where a lot of your things come back to that. But with Emmy, the little girl ghost at the museum, when Kate was released from purgatory from the boxcar, the brakeman that was there had a tendency of bullying her when we were trying to communicate with her, and I just found that really, I don't know, intriguing that they are able to do that and to somewhat control other spirits, not to a certain extent, but to the point where she wasn't comfortable talking with us anymore, and she'd just take off. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how a lot of things are the same on this side as they are the other, with people being manipulated and lied to and told certain things. But yeah, BTO in the chat room was asking, why do paranormal investigators externalize some force to assist them? And there are two sides of the same coin. To me, angels and demons are the extreme paradigms of this particular universe. Tough question, sorry, he says.
I guess the bigger question would be, why wouldn't we? I mean, why wouldn't we ask our ascended masters and our guides for assistance in helping us in an investigation? It's for me, it's just become second nature to be able to, just like people pray. I have this force that's backing me up and gives me the ability to communicate. So why wouldn't I use that to speak to spirits or entity or whatever manifests in a location? And, for lack of a better way to put it, because they don't always necessarily show themselves, but let us know that they're there. So yeah, why wouldn't we use what we have as backup?
Okay, and then Kevin was asking, if you have angels and archangels, then you have the devil, thus you have good and evil spirits. So that wasn't really a question, but a statement.
Yeah, well, I think some people might have misunderstood, or maybe I misunderstood the question, but I thought the question had originally been if we think that all spirit is evil, and the answer was no, we don't think all spirit is evil or demonic. That doesn't mean that there isn't negative out there and that we don't encounter negative spirit. It's just not all spirit is negative or evil. Does that make sense?
To me, and this is what I've been shown, spirit came from the earth. Spirit was human. Spirit has a soul. If it's negative or demonic, I do not refer to it as spirit. I refer to it as an entity. To me, there is a distinct difference. If that clarifies that statement.
Yeah. Well, and then he's saying, they say there are no evil spirits, then they say there are archangels. But to me, just as people are good and bad, you don't just automatically change when you pass away. You're not just, automatically a good person. You're still the same person you were when you passed away. So there are good and bad people. We see it every day.
Right.
And there are good and bad spirits. Perhaps they can change in time. I don't know. Because the one that we deal with from the 1800s, he's still a jerk. But
yeah.
There's
well, just like there's humans that will never change.
Yeah.
And again, someone somewhere along the line, a question had been asked if we thought that all spirit was evil, and the answer was no, we don't feel that all spirit is evil. We never said that there's no negative energy out there or any evil energy out there, because like you said, humans are good and bad, and you don't automatically change when you pass. So I think some people might be getting the answer confused, and maybe that's where the questions are coming from.
Well, to kind of reiterate, and I'm the one on the team that I'm still learning a lot as I go, and Shannon described it perfect for me to understand. When we as humans die, and when we die, our souls, our energy vibrates at a higher level. Like she said earlier in the show, the highest level of energy is laughter, love, compassion. Not saying that if a murderer or a rapist were to die right now, their negative energy stays here, much like a residual energy. It stays here. Now, that can create a poltergeist, or it could create, us in the paranormal field, we know what residual energy can do and what it can't do. So to me personally, again, this is my own opinion. When a human dies, their spirit vibrates at a higher level, so their energy, their soul, and their energy, because it is vibrating higher, it's going to be good. Now, their negative aspect stays here on Earth, or wherever, here with us, and that part of it, that negative energy, is what goes into a poltergeist, or what goes into that residual energy that plays out as a negative entity. We believe that entity and spirit are different, and that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, what about the negative entity or energy that is intelligent and actually attacks and causes contention and fighting between people and such, just to collect on that negative energy, as that's what they are, and to enable themselves to continue to be here, they kind of like to feed off of that type of energy.
Can you repeat the question, Tessa?
Oh, I was just saying, as far as negative energies, spirits, or entities, at times you run into an intelligent one that attacks and provokes people. Like, provoking goes both ways. And they can cause people to have contention and fight, and, divorces are caused and illnesses are caused. Different things like that. I mean, I don't think it's just I do believe in poltergeist energy coming from both the living and the dead. But I mean, there are those negative spirits, energies, or whatnot that are intelligent and know how to attack and to cause people to feed their negative energy with fighting and whatnot.
Absolutely. And, that's what we're there to try to figure out, if the negative is there, what has spiraled and what has created the negative energy. I'll go back to the Monroe House again.
That's all good.
If it's something anybody's, really looked into, the history of that house goes back 100+ years, and it's all negative. And the house has kind of created its own stigma. Just death after death, suicide after suicide. You had, the dark side of Wicca. You had devil worshipping. You have tombstones on top of cemetery, on top of bones. It's negative. But you also, when you go into the house, and any paranormal investigator that's been doing this a while knows that you can walk into a room and you can feel the heaviness, or you can feel the light. That house has both, because it's a battle. There's good in there that is fighting to get rid of the negative. And that's kind of a game plan that we're putting together the next time we go to that house to try to stamp out, if you will, the negative that's existing there, because it's so much more than entity. I don't even know how to explain it, but there's a darkness that has just manifested and created itself there that is in control, and it needs to be dissipated. And I think we're kind of coming up with a game to make that happen. It's not going to happen in 24, 48, even 72 hours. But I think it's something that we're willing to learn and try to take care of, because absolutely, there is absolutely negative in the world. And, you know, it's with the living in the past. Anybody else? You're good.
So, there's often an argument in the chat room about going to the light, not going to the light because it's a trap. What do you guys think the light exactly is?
In my own personal opinion, much like what people think about hell, your heaven is what you believe it to be. Whether that be, you know, pearly gates in the sky where you're greeted by everybody that you've ever known and embraced humbly, whether it be your favorite beach right now. In my opinion, again, heaven is what you make it, hell is what you make it. If you believe that when you die you're going to the fire pits of hell, then that's where you're going to go when you die. If you believe that when you die that you're going to live out the rest of eternity fishing at your favorite spot, that's what you're going to do. And as far as the light goes, for me, it's a physical thing that we use, because Shannon uses the flashlight when she crosses over. So when we say go to the light, we are literally talking about the flashlight. But metaphorically, we're talking about go to your happy place. Go to what your heaven is. Go to what your peace is. Ascend to your higher place.
I think you can sum it up in one simple word: ascend.
Yeah.
It's part of an ascension that spirit needs to go on to perform part of their journey. It's definitely not the end, but it's a portion of their journey.
Okay, so do you think, going on to a different topic, is it wise to bring home souvenirs from a ghost hunting trip, and what could go wrong?
What?
No, thank you.
The better question is, what possessed you to do it? Number one, bringing home souvenirs from a ghost hunt. Yeah, what would possess you to do it?
Like, why would you do that? Well, first of all, you're taking something that doesn't belong to you. And if there's any type of attachment to that, whatever it is that you decide to bring home with you, why would you want to bring that to your house?
I think we have a lot of people that watch TV, and there are certain Hollywood investigator out there that like to collect things. And you can watch that certain television show and see how it affects said person. I think that's kind of enough said. It's just a really bad idea, because you don't know what you're bringing home. Any object, I don't care how minute it is, can have an attachment.
I think the only souvenir that we take home is our memories and whatever we pick up at the local gas station. That's our souvenirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when we went to Rico, to the Enterprise Bar and Grill, and also went up on the mountain near the mine to investigate some Bigfoot sightings by our own security team. the only souvenir that I brought home was a magnet of Rico with some pretty, aspen trees and fall colors in the background and some old historic building. But I actually picked up some pottery from out below Mesa Verde. We were actually jackrabbit hunting, and we were going through, it looked like a trail for deer or cattle or whatnot. And at this one point in the trail, there were some broken pieces of pottery, and so I ended up picking some up. Not too long after that, I got into a car accident, and shortly after that, I got rid of the pottery because I'm like, that was really weird how that happened. I fishtailed, but then the car was under control, and it was like someone just yanked my steering wheel to the right, and I just felt like I wasn't supposed to have that, and the first thought in my mind was, it was the pottery. Something attached to it, and perhaps that could have been an old kiln or something where pottery is broken next to it, or it could have been a grave site and I didn't realize it, just finding it on the ground. So yeah, I ended up getting rid of that, and I haven't picked up anything but stones from certain areas, or like I said, magnets.
A lesson, huh?
Yeah, that was a lesson to me, and I wasn't even ghost hunting. I was jackrabbit hunting, but yeah, I won't be doing that again. So, do you guys think some people are more perceptive to paranormal activity than others? And if so, is there a way for someone to open that up in themselves?
Yes, and yes. I think everybody has the ability to open up, but if you're negative, if you're a negative Nelly, it's never going to happen. I don't want to go back into the whole energy thing, but you've got to be receptive. You've got to be open. You have to be positive in order to let it flow to where you are receptive enough and open enough to learn to feel, see, and walk into a room and kind of gather your thoughts and understanding on what is taking place and what is happening. Allisa?
I really don't. There's not anything that I can really add to that, because you covered it pretty good. The whole energy thing, really, the only thing that I can add to that is you can't receive anything if you're not receptive, and you can't be receptive if you are projecting nothing but negative. That's just not, you just can't.
What you put out is what comes back to you.
Right.
How you treat people is how you're going to get treated in return. If you're a nasty, rude, negative person that likes to stir the pot, don't expect good things to happen, because you're putting out so much yuck that yuck is going to come back to you. Now, I could say with certainty, the four of us sitting here, we put out a lot of laughter. Like, we laugh together. We laugh at each other. We genuinely are happy people. And I think because we choose to be genuinely happy, loving people is why we have genuinely loving, happy lives. And a lot of good has come to us in many aspects of our personal lives because of how we choose to live our life.
In spirit loves to be around us.
Yes.
Who doesn't love to be around us? We're a hoot.
If you go in somewhere and you're being a negative Nancy, and you're just, there's nothing here, or whatever the case, nothing's gonna happen to me because there's nothing here. Let me tell you, you're gonna get put on your end real quick. You're not gonna get anything, because just like us living people, would you want to be around somebody that's completely obnoxious, or do you want to be around somebody that is fun and positive? And that's how we look at it.
And to answer the second part of that question, it's a whole lot of learning and a whole lot of research, a lot of digging, a lot of what works for you.
Right.
Trust.
A lot of trust and patience.
I try to provide, I wouldn't say the answers, but the questions, I think, to make them expand their minds, to kind of focus on how to open themselves up and be receptive. Because I can't do it for them, so I give them the tools to do it.
So, BTO is asking, is Ascension more hierarchical and external, whereas Ascension is more expansive and internal? Which is more important? Sorry, I'm more universal and beyond.
Yeah, they're both equally important. Ascension is, yes, outer body, outer realm, where Ascension is focusing on your internal, your inner, which, in my opinion, is just as important. Your inner health, your inner everything. If you're not in a positive place and you're not healthy, and you can be sick and be spiritually healthy. Yeah. If both of those things are not going on, the universe is not receptive. It's part of our learning process, I think, as humans. This is getting deep.
Yeah. So, what would be your top 5 must-see places for someone looking for a paranormal adventure?
Like in Mississippi, or just in general? We just do
In general, like, what's your wish list, or what are places that you've visited that you'd recommend to people? You can kind of mix them up if you'd like.
Ooh.
My bucket list is the catacombs. And France. I would like to go to Winchester House.
Yep, that one's on mine. Monroe was on mine, and I got to go.
Yeah, I did get to check off Monroe off my bucket list.
I could go to Monroe 1,000 times.
I could too.
West Virginia.
Waverly, that's Kentucky.
Waverly, Kentucky. Let's see, we had Monroe House, we had Waverly, Winchester, the catacombs.
If you ever catch yourself down towards this way, what's that? I would highly recommend the that hospital.
Oh, Coon Hospital?
Yeah.
Coon Hospital.
Yes, that's not Southern for you. I don't know what is.
Coon Hospital?
Coon.
K-U-H-N.
Nice.
If they ever reopen Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, that's a great one to go to.
They're talking about reopening it.
Yeah.
You know, we were lucky enough to get in there before they had to temporarily close the doors on it. But it's a great place.
And I could spend probably a month in New Orleans.
I knew it was coming. I was about to say it. Yes.
And not get all the spiritual interaction that I would want to get. That is just one big giant.
Don't use the P word.
Ball of energy. It's phenomenal. And that's also where Caden and Allisa got married on Friday the 13th.
Yes, by our lead medium. And our historian was our photographer. So if that doesn't tell you how close we are, I don't know what does.
Right.
All right, and I'm just going to reiterate across the airwaves. If you'd like to call in with your questions or experiences, our phone number is 970-335-9596. That's 970-335-9596. So in our last 20 minutes, what would you guys like to do? Would you like to tell us more of your ghost stories, your experiences on your hunt? Where would you like to go from here?
Ruffalo, Shaggy, I don't know. Golly, I wish that somebody would ask more questions though. It got deep there for a second.
Yeah, then they all backed off.
Yeah, BTO's got some really good ones out there.
Yeah, he does. He normally does.
He makes you think. He does. And he's a New Yorican, so that kind of puts him up there, even though I'm from Boston. The fact that at least he's Puerto Rican is good for me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a question that we get asked most is why did we pick the name Death Stalkers? And there's actually quite a great explanation behind it. Shannon.
Cue, Shannon.
Well, I wanted something different. And Death Stalker is actually a type of scorpion that hunts down its prey and basically consumes it. So that's kind of how we look at when we do our investigations. We're hunting down a location and we're looking for spirit, we're looking for answers, we're looking for entities, we're looking for
excuse me,
answers.
And the scorpion also stands for, it's coming above past issues. You're rising above everything. If you look at some of the meetings for a scorpion, it's really for warriors and survivors. It's for people who have overcome some crazy past or nasty past, and they rose above it, and on the other end, they were blessed with gifts. And I really feel like us as a team, especially since we've gotten together, we have all been blessed with gifts that we really would never be able to give thanks to them for.
We're definitely a blessing.
Yeah.
So Robert in the chat room is asking, do you guys ever go cold into an unknown location?
I think the first one I did was Colin. So we later check it out. Yeah. I think I don't know about ever. Melissa, have you went cold like without knowing anything? We've been anywhere with you?
No, I mean, usually.
Well, as a team, no, because Caden and I do the information. You two go in cold a lot of times because we don't. When Caden and I look up information on a location or the history of it or whatever, we don't share it with Shannon and Allisa simply because that is our way of validating what they get. So they go in cold every single time we go to an investigation. We do that intentionally. We feel that the less information they have, the better it is for us, and we can use that as validation.
And to reiterate on that, because in the past I used to get general information of a location that I was going into, but as a medium, that can cross-contaminate what you get. So I've just learned in this process to not feed anything into me. And sometimes Lisette and Caden will get really excited and they want to share things, and we kind of have to back them up and be like, no,
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
We've done that a lot. We've been told to shut up a lot.
And we have, and we have followers that have became friends and family, and they send us messages and they get excited. Just recently we have a couple that's going to Monroe House next week, and they'll get on there, and even though I've been there 3 times and the team's been there together once, I still with them will be like, whoa, you know. They'll say I found this out. And I'm like, don't tell me. Don't. You can tell the other two, but don't. You know, I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to know.
Yeah, I prefer to go in cold, and I like to do that because I like to go and do the research afterwards and see if what we experienced and what we found is right on or not. And for the most part, we just pick up on so many things. Like at the Prairie Grove battlefield out in Prairie Grove, Arkansas, we kept seeing this figure in a khaki-colored uniform. And when she said that, you know, being that this was Civil War times, I just kept picturing the blue and gray, and I had never heard of any soldiers having khaki-colored uniforms. And we actually got popped by the cops the first night because it was open, so we didn't think we needed permission, but come to find out we did. So we went in to, you know, fill out all our paperwork and get the permission, and lo and behold, there's this mannequin in there with a khaki-colored uniform with gold embellishment on it as far as like buttons and such. And so that was just awesome, finding that. And we were communicating with a Mary, and she turned out to be the general's wife, actually ex-wife, because he moved on from her. But yeah, I just love doing that. It's just exciting to get all that information, pass it on, or look it up and find out how right on we were and just the different people that we were actually communicating with. I really dig it. And I don't like to have information beforehand because I don't want, you know, my subconscious playing tricks on me or, you know, feeding me things. So I do like doing it, cold calls and going in and finding out what we can and then moving on from there.
Yeah, validation is awesome when you do stuff like that. And what's interesting having two mediums on a team is one of us sometimes will start getting information and the other one will get it right behind, and we can kind of feed off of each other's gifts and ability. And you know, one of us will get one thing, and then the other one will pick up on what they're wearing, and the other one will go back and say they're 6 or 7 years old. And it's neat,
like one big long conversation.
It is, but it's neat to be able to do that, and then have Caden and Lisette on the other side nodding their heads because they've already found the information. You know, and it's neat to see, because we're smiling because we were able to do it, and they're smiling because we did it.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of one of those moments where
it's a word moment.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah. So we got a question here from Joe Monk, and he's asking, if a haunted location burns down, where do the spirits go? Do they stick around, or did they find another place to live?
It depends on why they were in the location to begin with. Many times, if it was just home, yeah, they're going to find another location to go to. If they are stuck, like we were talking about when you have the collectors, they're going to be there in that land. They're still going to be stuck in that location. Matter of fact, we have talked about going back to where the Baldwin House is, and going to the land and just gonna fill in a sense for what is still there and possibly do a session, because we did have several energies that wanted to tap and cross over, to see if we can still help what's there, because when we were there the first time before the home burnt, like I stated, we had the entity that would not allow us to finish what we needed to do. So, yeah, I do feel like sometimes, even though the location is gone, that they're still stuck.
So do you guys find that the more time you spend somewhere, the more spirits come out and try to communicate, as they might trust you or have a better feeling from you?
Yes. It all goes back to the energy part. They have to fill you out just like we fill out other people.
There have been times where we have pulled up on location. For me, and I know it's happened for Shannon because she'll get tickled when it happens for her. For me, I just look at Caden and I'm like, well, this is going to be great. Because we'll pull up and it's like, hi, hello, hey, you're here. And then sometimes you'll pull up and you get nothing. Nothing. I mean, absolutely, you got to go in and you kind of got to walk around and just chit-chat, literally chit-chat for a little bit. Like, okay, I know you're here. You can come on out and talk to me just a little bit, you know. And then sometimes, like I said, we'll pull up somewhere. And for me, it'll be like somebody turned on the radio upstairs and there's 20 people trying to say something at one time because they just want to talk.
And then other times it's crickets.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's just nothing there.
So earlier, you guys were talking about using music in investigating, and we've actually tried things, you know, to that time era or things that were happening in that time, and I can't remember the name of this experiment, but we used it at the same place on like our third day there. And instead of playing music, I found a track that's Civil War sounds, which, you know, gunfire, screaming, cannon fire, you know, people running, different stuff like that. And with our FLIR camera pointing at the tree line where a lot of them would run to hide from the cannons or the gunfire or whatnot, there was flashing of lights like all around the trees and such. And at that point, my daughter, Nova, saw another soldier run by wearing the same khaki colored uniform as they were a southern offshoot and that was their color. He ran by and dove into the trees and she freaked out, not because she had seen it, but because she could feel the anxiety and tension and such that he was feeling, and it was just amazing. And that was the first time I had tried that with, you know, sounds or music or whatnot, and it actually brought out a spirit, and it kind of made me feel guilty because of the anxiety and panic that he was feeling. I felt bad that I had, you know, reopened those wounds or, you know, caused some sort of, you know, anything but peace. You know, it wasn't very nice. So next time I'm going to think twice before I, you know, pull up certain things such as battle sounds. But music for that time frame, you know, would have been a nicer thing to do, I would think. But it's amazing how that technique really does work.
Yeah. I think, and this is just my own opinion, I kind of, if we spoke earlier about the energy and like a private client that we had, you know, we went one time and it was just popping. I mean, they could not wait to get what they needed to say out. And then you go again and it's cricket, as Shannon says. I also believe certain types of music in a certain environment can energize that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a form of using like a trigger object.
Yeah.
You know, where some people may use, you know, articles of clothing or equipment, a specific time period. We like using music, and we all love music, so that's kind of like our common ground with everything. So yeah, we use music pretty much like a lot of people use a trigger object.
Mm-hmm. Playing music in effects. When we was at the hospital, Shannon was playing the heart monitor beeps and IV machine. You know, we had it playing, and you know, sometimes it just, like they said, it's just a trigger object.
Yeah, now Kevin's giving me the 3rd degree for causing PTSD and such to those poor soldiers. He's like, yeah, I'm like, I already feel bad enough as it is. I learned my lesson, okay? So have you guys found that does actually kick up the energy and cause more activity than it generally would?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah, well, a lot of times we'll play it before we actually go into that room.
Mm-hmm. Or just take a phone in there and flip it on and let it go.
Pandora has become our friend.
Yes.
So, you guys were talking about EVPs and such. What is the best EVP that you guys have caught?
We're trying to decipher one right now that'll be pretty.
If it is what we believe it to be, ooh, that's all I gotta say. Like, it just opened up a whole another can of worms on our whole perception of that place.
Well, we know one of the words is horseman, and we're trying to decipher the rest. Yeah.
And it just so happens that the particular conversation going on before that is us discussing what we think is pulling the strings of the minions. So, yeah, within a 2-minute recording session, we caught 4 EVPs. 3 are indefinite, like without a doubt, you can hear what it says, and then that last one, we've been playing with it like a couple of hours today, especially just trying to clean it up and amplify it and slow it down, and we're still scratching our heads on it because all we get is just horsemen.
Yeah, it's very interesting, just the different things that are out there. But it gives me hope that, there is something beyond this life than, being buried and eaten by bugs and worms and such, or rotting or whatnot. You leave your physical body and you go on and you do other things that you enjoy, whether it's an astral hop or visiting your family or whatnot, So Andrew was asking, what happens to spirit people who don't know what they're doing to cross them over? And we actually only have 1 minute left.
What happens to them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, so is he, Andrew, are you asking, like, what happens to spirit when inexperienced investigators try to cross them over, or, like, it's spirit that doesn't realize it's crossing over?
If you're asking, I'm reading the question, and what I think you're saying, I'm going to answer it the way that I think you're asking. We don't try to cross over spirit unless it's a point blank period. We're not going to force them to cross, and that's the moral for us. If they ask for help, we'll help. If they don't, we leave it alone.
All right. Well, guys, how can our listeners get a hold of you? What are your websites and other routes?
You can catch us on Facebook at Death Stalkers Paranormal. You can also, on the page, you can email us at dspara@gmail.com. There are 2 phone numbers listed that you can call or text any time of day.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, you guys, for being on my show. It was so awesome having you, and everybody had a great time.
Thank you for having us. We've had an awesome time. I'm sorry. To quote Shannon, we had a phenomenal time.
Phenomenal. Thank you again to my...
Into the rocks and from the cliffs they watch us sink down in our thorny crowns. Beggars dressed as emperors, offering you 7 wonders, promising the deepest thunder. We'll tell you you're the perfect girl, we'll crawl for miles through the sand to win your hand and be your man. I try to act so cool, but I'm just a fool for you.
Until next time, nighty night, love and light to all my space cases out there. You guys have a wonderful Sunday, and see you all back here tomorrow. Yeah, I actually